All right, if you're a developer working in the Midnight ecosystem, you know this feeling, right? You ask your AI for help with the compact language, and what you get back is, well, it's just completely wrong. So today, we're going to look at the tool that promises to change all of that. It's called Midnight MCP. I mean, does this sound familiar? This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? You're trying to move fast, you're trying to be productive, but the very thing that's supposed to be your assistant is actually slowing you down. It is such a common pain point, and honestly, it's the core problem we're going to tackle today. Okay, so let's really dig in here. Let's talk about this AI coding problem. What is actually going wrong when you ask an AI to write some compact code? It's this classic story of promise versus reality, right? Over here on the left, you've got the dream. Fast, clean code that just supercharges your productivity. But then there's the reality for so many of us on the right. The AI often gets confused and thinks compact is TypeScript, and you're left with this absolute mess of errors. You end up wasting hours just debugging what the machine was supposed to do right in the first place. And we're not talking about tiny typos here. What kind of errors are we seeing? Well, you've got duplicated syntax, completely wrong return types, and code patterns that are just unworkable. It's way more than a small annoyance. For a lot of developers, this has been, and this is a direct quote, a real blocker. It just stops your progress dead in its tracks. But what if there was a better way? You know, the team at Midnight, they heard all these frustrations loud and clear, and they actually built a solution. So let's meet the hero of our story, Midnight MCP. So what is this thing exactly? Well, Midnight MCP Server is this really cool open source tool. Its whole job is to give your AI assistant, whether you're using Claude, Cursor, whatever, a true, deep understanding of the entire Midnight ecosystem. And we're not just talking about it having read the docs, we're talking about real baked-in expert-level knowledge. So how does it actually pull this off? What's the secret sauce? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the magic that makes MCP so darn effective. First up, it all starts with the data. I mean, it has to learn from somewhere, right? MCP has access to over 102 indexed Midnight repositories. Think about that. That gives it this massive foundation. So it doesn't just understand the syntax from a textbook, it understands the actual patterns that people are using in real-world projects. And on top of all that knowledge, it's got a whole toolkit at its disposal, 29 powerful developer tools to be exact. And these aren't just simple little commands. We're talking about tools for searching, for analyzing code, for generating new code, all of them specifically designed and fine-tuned for the Midnight ecosystem. Okay, but here it is. This is the part that is the real game changer. It has a built-in compact compiler. This is the absolute key. MCP doesn't just guess what good code looks like, it knows. It can actually compile the code right there, on the fly. And this workflow, it's just brilliant. Look at this. You send a prompt, just like you always do, but here's what happens behind the scenes. MCP grabs the AI's first attempt at the code. It then immediately runs that code through its own compiler. Now, if there are errors, and let's be honest, there usually are, it doesn't even show them to you. Nope. Instead, it sends the broken code back to the AI and basically says, fix it. It forces the AI to correct its own mistakes until the code compiles successfully. And what's the result? The only thing you ever see is code that is pre-verified and just works. Okay, that all sounds amazing in theory, but how does it actually perform in the real world? Let's walk through a super quick demo. So we're going to start with a really common, pretty straightforward prompt. Write a token transfer compact smart contract. Now this is exactly the kind of thing that would normally make a standard AI assistant stumble. So what's happening in the background the second you hit enter? Well, MCP gets to work. It calls get latest syntax to make sure it's using the right patterns. Then it uses search for contract to look for best practice examples. And then, here's the most important part. It calls Midnight compile contract. It runs the code through that compiler before you ever lay eyes on it. And only after it gets a successful compile does it finally create the file for you. And what do you get at the end of all that? A perfect smart contract. I'm serious. It's got well-detailed comments, it follows all the best practices, the syntax is flawless, and the best part? It has already been compiled and confirmed to be completely error-free. It just works right out of the box. Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking, right, I need this. How do I get it? Is it going to be complicated to set up? Absolutely not. Let me show you how you can get this up and running in literally 60 seconds. First things first, it works for you already work. So whether you're a fan of the Claude desktop client, you're using Cursor, or you're just in good old Visual Studio Code, MCP is built to slot right into your existing flow. No need to change a thing. And the setup itself is, it's incredibly simple. You just install the tool by following the instructions, you add one little line of configuration to your client, and you restart it. That is it. Seriously. From that point on, you just start prompting, and your AI now speaks fluent compact. The whole thing honestly takes less than a minute. So let's bring it all home. We started with this problem of an AI that a lot of the time just creates more headaches than it solves. But now with Midnight MCP, you have a tool that makes sure your AI is an actual partner, a real co-pilot in your development. So the only real question left is, are you ready to let your AI actually help for once?